Have you ever watched someone work incredibly hard to achieve a massive victory, only to immediately turn around and self-sabotage the whole thing? It's like watching a runner win a marathon and then trip over their own shoelaces at the finish line.
That is a painfully accurate description of the story we are looking at today. We are diving into the life of King Amaziah of Judah. It's a fascinating, tragic character study. The text describes him as someone who did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, but, and this is a huge but, not with a whole heart.
That phrase stands out, doesn't it? Not with a whole heart. It sounds like a performance review that starts well, but ends with a warning. So where does his reign begin? Because it actually starts with a surprising act of restraint.
It does. Amaziah takes the throne after his father is assassinated. Now, in the ancient Near East, the standard playbook when you take power is to wipe out your enemies and their entire families to prevent revenge. Amaziah executes the assassins, but he spares their children.
Which was unheard of at the time.
Exactly. He explicitly follows the law of Moses. Fathers shouldn't die for their children's sins. It showed he had a conscience and respect for divine law. He was building a kingdom on justice. But then, we see the cracks start to form when he prepares for war against Edom.
Right? He gathers a massive army, but he feels it's not enough. So he goes out and hires 100,000 mercenaries from Israel. He pays them 100 talents of silver. That's a fortune.
It is. And this is where we see the first test of his faith. A man of God comes to him and says, essentially, send those mercenaries home. God isn't with Israel right now. If you take them, you'll lose.
I love Amaziah's response here because it's so human. He doesn't argue theology, he argues economics. He basically asks, but what about my money? I've already paid the invoice.
It's the classic sunk cost fallacy. We do this all the time. We cling to bad decisions because we've already invested in them. But the prophet's answer is profound. He tells Amaziah, the Lord is able to give you much more than this.
That's a powerful line. And surprisingly, Amaziah listens. He eats the loss, sends the mercenaries home, which makes them furious, by the way, and goes to war with just his own troops. And he wins.
He wins a decisive victory. But this is where the story takes a bizarre, almost irrational turn. He defeats the Edomites, but when he comes home, he brings the gods of Edom with him, and he starts worshiping them.
This is the part that makes no sense to me. Why would you worship the gods of the people you just defeated? Clearly, those gods didn't work for them.
It is completely illogical. It's like a sports team winning the championship and then deciding to adopt the playbook of the losing team. When a prophet confronts him about this absurdity, asking, why seek gods that couldn't even save their own people? Amaziah snaps. He threatens the prophet into silence.
His success made him arrogant. He went from listening to correction about the money to threatening death to anyone who questioned him. And that arrogance leads to the famous confrontation with Israel.
Yes. High on his victory over Edom, Amaziah decides to pick a fight with King Jehoash of Israel. He challenges him to battle. But Jehoash's response is one of the most stinging insults in ancient history. He tells him a parable.
The thistle and the cedar.
Right. Jehoash says, a thistle in Lebanon sent a message to a cedar in Lebanon saying, give your daughter to my son in marriage. Then a wild beast passed by and trampled the thistle underfoot.
Ouch, he's calling Amaziah a weed.
A weed with a complex. He's saying, you defeated Edom, and now your head is big. Stay home. Why ask for trouble? But Amaziah wouldn't listen. The text says it was actually God's will to hand him over because of that idolatry we mentioned.
And the result was catastrophic. It wasn't just a loss, it was a humiliation. The wall of Jerusalem was broken down, the temple gold was looted, and Amaziah was taken hostage. He lost everything he had built.
It's a complete collapse. And meanwhile, you have this strange contrast with the north. Jeroboam II takes over in Israel. He's considered evil spiritually, yet he expands Israel's borders and recovers territory.
That seems unfair, doesn't it? The guy doing evil gets the political win?
It does, but the text gives us the reason. God saw the bitter suffering of Israel. He saved them not because Jeroboam was good, but because God was merciful. It's a reminder that political success isn't always a sign of divine approval.
That is a sobering thought. So looking at Amaziah's end, he eventually flees a conspiracy and is killed. What's the takeaway here?
I think it comes back to that divided heart. Amaziah was willing to trust God with his army, but not with his success. He wanted the glory of the victory, but didn't want the humility of the relationship.
It's the danger of almost. He was almost a great king.
Exactly. He conquered the enemy outside, but he was defeated by the enemy inside, his own pride.
A heavy lesson for all of us. Are we worshiping the things we've conquered? We'll leave you with that thought. Thanks for listening.
If you have been blessed by this, please like, subscribe, and share this joy with others. God bless.